Mid-season of our hunting season here in Llano County. Everybody had good barbecue and good fellowship, and now maybe we can get down to some serious business, talk about how our deer season is going. It's my understanding from talking to a lot of the hunters that the deer are a little small this year. We had a severe drought for about 3 or 4 months, but the acorns came out real good, and deer had plenty to eat there to last the season. And along with the acorn crop and a lot of hunters using the can call, it's my understanding that there's been about $75 taken off the first part of the season, and that represents about 140 hunters. And tonight we have about maybe 60, 65 hunters here. Information I had so far this year, unless somebody can correct me, is that we only had 2 hunters hurt. One hunter was leaning up against a log and fell asleep. We woke up, he saw a deer and he jumped up and kind of got buck fever real quick and broke his gun and bled his nose a little bit. Another hunter accidentally shot himself in the foot going through a gate. I think that's rewarding that a lot of the hunters got together to help those hunters that were hurt, and we're having a good season. So far, it's my understanding that the good acorn crop and the can call that a lot of officers used a few years back when Mr. Saxon was down here explaining it has brought some pretty good bucks in. We had information that Mr. Saxon was attending a conference down in San Antonio, Texas, and I got a hold of him through an associate of mine and invited him back to attend a meeting. He said he was going back through town to attend a meeting with us today and to see how he's been doing and how the deer hunting is going in his part of the country. So I'd like to invite Mr. Saxon to come up. Y'all met him earlier tonight, and maybe go over a few things on how his deer season and his hunters are doing. Mr. Saxon, you come on up, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure good to see you.
Good to be
It's been
back.
a long time, was it? 94, I believe.
Right, it's been about 2 years.
Well, how have things been going? How's hunting going down that way?
Well, things are a little bit slow, I think, this year, but I have been so busy, Ernie, I haven't really had a chance to get out and hunt the way that I usually do. You know, I've been on a tour around on safety. I don't know if you, well, I did tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah, some of our hunters are very interested in that.
Right. Well, Sexton I'm just safety ordering. No matter what I do, whether it's driving a car, hunting, I go the extra step to make sure that that everything, you know, is in place before I start. But even as safe as I am, last year I kind of slipped and I fell off of a stand.
Oh,
and
sorry.
But I'm tough. First of all,
very
tough.
obvious
Yeah.
you are for what you've been through.
A normal person, it would probably really hurt, but as long as I've been hunting, you know, I knew how to fall, so everything turned out okay. But I learned from these kind of things, and I've been going around trying to, you know, explain to people what happened.
On your fall, Mr. Saxon, did you fall out of a stand or out of a tree, or?
Oh, I fell out of the stand, but it was just a little accident. But now what I've come up with is something that you know, you learn from your mistakes and you try and fulfill the needs that's out here in the way of hunting. So I have come up with something that I think is going to really help us in a deer hunt and a safety oriented type deal. You know, in the cars we have an airbag. And I don't see why in the world. I've come up with something called an air pack.
Air pack?
An air pack.
Air pack for deer hunters?
Right, for the ones hunting in stands.
In stands.
You put it on just kind of like you would a regular backpack, and of course, with an air pack, you can't wait till you hit.
It's my understanding on air pack, the concussion is what caused that thing to blow.
Well, what we have done is it's done a survey, and we've come up, it'll be voice operated.
Voice activated.
Right, sure. And we tried to figure out what would be the best thing to activate this air pack, and through a survey we've done, we've come up with oh shit.
I tell you, you wouldn't have to do much survey around our hunters to come up with all shit when you fall down the tree.
and that'll automatically activate the balloon type thing that'll help you fall. But once again, Ernie, it's hard to find something for everybody.
I understand.
We've
you
got,
can't please everybody.
No, we've got one hunter on our place that I understand this year. Like I said, I didn't get to hunt much with him, but I understand Johnny Garman, one of our big hunters,
Yes,
had a tough time hitting deer this year. And the one that was hunting around him that could hear said he would shoot, and then the next thing they'd hear is, "Ah, shit, I missed him again."
Uh-oh.
Well, if he'd have had on the backpack, it would have just...
It would have messed up his hunting.
Yeah, so, you know, either he's got to get better at shooting or not wearing that.
Well, let me ask you something. We have some hunters in somewhat in the same circumstances. Does he use a scope?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he does, but that shooting, now, we'll get into that in a second. I won't tell you about a scope that I've come up with.
Oh, okay.
We've got another, you know, I've come up with a new scope as well as this air pack. We've got a guy that doesn't seem like he can tell a buck from a doe. I don't know his problem. I thought he was a veteran hunter, but I understand this year that he shot, he thought it was a buck and he shot a little doe. His name's Ronald Martin. And
Mr. Martin?
Mr. Martin. And what I have, like I said, you learn from these things.
Sure.
Things that people need. So I'm inventing a scope with a radar type deal that will pick up horns, and down at the bottom of the scope it'll say, "It's a buck." And that way you'll know.
Oh, you mean the scope
Right.
will tell you whether it's
right, buck
doe
or
or
doe.
buck.
Well, it'll just say, "It's a buck." And I think Ronald needs it bad. I mean, you know, I think that'll help him probably more.
Does he not? He
Well,
has a hard time distinguishing between...
Evidently he does. They say that he, you know, he did this year anyway.
Yeah,
He thought it was one that had a little horn.
Well, you know, maybe we found out that some of our young hunters get buck fever every time they see a deer.
Well, I don't know if he got bucked. I think he just, I think what it was that he was just so excited about killing the first deer, maybe of the season or whatever. He just panicked a little bit. But from now on, if I can come up with a scope, it'll not only help him, but it'll help other hunters, you know. And
well, let's see. You talked about an airbag for hunters hunting out of trees, and the scope. Do you have these things in?
Yeah, they're all in the process, and so far I'm hoping to get a patent on these. If I do, you know, it'll be kind of like my can call. It'll be.
Well, your can call has been wonderful for our area down
Not
here.
Not everybody has learned to use it, but you know.
It's amazing. You know, Mr. Saxon, if you're developing with your expertise and your hunting experience and your guiding, if you're developing these type of things for hunters to be involved in or look at maybe the feasibility of using them later on if they work out, where do you see our deer hunting going? And from the past up to the future, we're getting so many different people involved in hunting anymore. Even the hunters' wives now have got associations. We have a hunters' wives association in our group. Some of those girls do better than the men do. But we're getting a little concerned about where hunting is going in the way of deer hunting. Deer hunting. These guys here are all deer hunters.
That's a good question.
Where is deer hunting going?
As you know, my brother Eamon,
I was going to ask you about Eamon. Is he still guiding, or is he improved any, or?
Well,
I know you told me he was just almost as good as you, and hey, if he's almost as good as you, Mr. Saxon, in this part of the country, he'd be tops.
Well, I don't know, maybe he slid backwards a little bit.
Oh, really?
He's still a good guy. Don't get me wrong, and I'd say that he'd come in probably the top 10 in the state. So you know.
Does he have his mode of operation? Is it basically the same as yours?
Oh, pretty much. He's taking things that I use and go out. we talk about things a lot. As a matter of fact, Eamon's a great observer of nature, you know, and
Is he younger or older than you?
well, he's a little bit younger than I am. But
so I suspect you somewhat trained him all your life.
oh yeah, all of my life I've took him under my wing. He knows that I've taught him most everything he knows about hunting. But anyway, we was not long ago we was out, and Eamon's an observer of nature, and
He has to be.
Yeah.
If he's a Saxon, he has to be.
Well, yeah, and that's part of learning how to guide and learning how. They was a flock of geese came over, and Eamon was looking at me and he said, "Al, have you ever noticed that one side of this V is always longer than the other one?" And I said, "Yeah, I've noticed that." He said, "Do you know why?" And I said, "No, I've never really." He said, "Well, I've been observing it, and I count them, and there's more in that longer line than they are in the shorter line." Now, that's observant.
He is very observant,
He's
you know.
very observant, and so he knows about, you know, there's more birds in one line. So
Do y'all hunt together?
oh yeah, we hunt together quite a bit. But back to where deer hunting goes.
Yes.
You know, we come out with rifle hunting, and then we went to muzzle loading, going back to our grandfathers or whatever. Then we went to bow hunting, which goes on back to the Native American. What I foresee in the future and what I'm working on now is going back to the Stone Age hunting, and it would be done with a spear. Matter of fact, I've got some proposals in front of the Fish and Game. We've got to figure out on what size point you can use on the spear, how long, and all of this. And there'll be a complete new line of clothes, and deer hunting is going to change dramatically for some people. The ones of us that done reached the level like
Sure.
I have,
Yeah.
you know, there's no challenge in deer hunting to me anymore the way it used to be.
Sure.
I have just got so good at it that I think that if I go with a spear, that'll change.
You know, you say something that I understand is kind of meaningful to me. When you talk about deer hunting, after you've been hunting so long and reached the plateau that you have, and Eamon and probably a lot of your hunters, there gets to be a certain point where you really don't improve much, and you get tired of that. You know, it's just like I love to shoot a pistol, and you can get a good score, but you can shoot for weeks and weeks, and after that it's just almost impossible to improve your score. Is that basically the same?
That's that kind of. We just want something different, and I've already got a manufacturer here that's wanting to start out using my technique of the spear hunting, and coming out with a new line of clothes called a Fred Flintstone look.
Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, you know that.
You are going back.
Yeah.
Do you say that you've got coming out with a line of clothes with Fred Flintstone?
Fred Flintstone.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things will be, of course, is a cape with the deer head, so we can get in and walk with them. You know, walk right along with the deer, and when we get close enough, we'll be able to get them with our spear. That's going to be part of it. And then I think probably maybe just for leisure hunting, the strap with the old caveman look is going to, you're going to see that coming in. So, but there's lots of things happening out here, and so.
It's
It's just been a pleasure. I'm running kind of late.
I want to ask you one question. Some of our hunters had asked me to ask you this in case they had to leave, didn't get to see you. In Georgia, do you have your bow season open up before your gun season does?
Right. Our bow season always opens up.
And after bow season closes, hunting season opens, can you still use the bow to hunt during the regular hunting season?
Oh, sure. You just got to follow the same regulations that you do with a gun. But
tag them the same procedure.
Yeah, yes, you can hunt with a bow. And I don't know how this. Whenever we start spear hunting, I'm sure there'll be maybe even a longer season, or maybe an earlier season for spear hunting. The Fish and Game are really looking at my suggestion on this, and they think that there won't be many of us hunters starting out that way, though, because there's not many of us going to be good enough to get one with a spear. But I'm sure that
now,
I'll take it out.
When you're talking about a spear, you're talking about something like A javel?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, 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 just, and
Well-
it'll